This is the Parent Life Show. My name is Katrina Ball and I am your host. Today we will be talking about teen parents. Our guests today are Ms. Michelle Wade, the Director of Teen Services, Shymere Williams, and China Richardson, who are both teen parents. Welcome, ladies. My first question is for you, Shy. How did you find out you were pregnant?
I started having these weird dreams, with babies, and I told my boyfriend at the time and not wanting to take any chances. We went and got a pregnancy test that day, and that day I found out I was pregnant. A week later, we went to the clinic and it was set in stone. Mm-hmm.
And China, what about you?
For me, well, the protection broke, so I felt like from that point I knew I was pregnant, but a few weeks later I went to the clinic to confirm it.
Shy, now you say you had a boyfriend. Were you sexually active before?
Yes.
And were you using protection?
Not all the time, no.
And China, when was the first time you had sex?
Maybe 4 months before I was pregnant. At 13.
And Michelle, is this usually common for young girls that they tend to have sex earlier, or?
It's common. It's not unknown for young people to have sex at the age of 13 and 14. I guess the question would be is if they become pregnant. Some people don't get pregnant because they use protection or the protection works or what have you, but it's not uncommon.
Shy, I'm gonna ask you when we come back from this break, how old were you when you got pregnant? But I want my viewers to stay tuned. We will be back after this short break and we will hear from Shy. Welcome back to the Parent Life Show. I'm your host, Katrina Ball, and we are here with Ms. Michelle Wade, from the Director of Teen Services, China Richardson, as well as Shymere Williams. They are both teen parents, and we are talking about teen parents today. So China, Shymere, before we took a break, we were going to ask you, how old were you when you got pregnant?
Well, I got pregnant right before my 15th birthday.
Okay, and China, you said you were 14. Why so young?
13 because prior to becoming sexually active, I was abused, and I believe that's what triggered me to start at a young age.
Well, Michelle, is this a common occurrence that children that may have been abused do become sexually active earlier?
It is a common event that can happen to young people that become sexually active early in their life. Having that exposure, not that they enjoy it or anything, so having that exposure and that experience, sometimes the mindset just gears towards that type of behavior. So it's not uncommon. Many of our clients come in and, for the first time reveal that they've been abused in some way or another.
What is the youngest young lady that you've had to deal with in teen services?
With reference to getting pregnant or just coming?
Well, both, getting pregnant and
I think at the age of 12, 13.
Mm-hmm. And is there an upper age limit to assisting young women with pregnancy?
We would go up until the age of 18 requiring services with reference to pregnancy, but we do our other service women that are in their 20s as well.
And Shy, did you feel that you were ready to have sex?
No, actually it's weird. I was the last one in my clique. I hang with girls older than me. I was the last one to lose my virginity. I kind of felt pressured into doing it. In conversations about sex, I never really had anything to say, and it felt like something I needed to do to fit in.
Chana, do you think this is common for girls your age, that feeling the pressure that they have to fit in and they have sex?
Because I was actually the first, but I felt maybe my friends, I have some friends that are still virgins, and I'm so proud of them that they haven't been pressured to do stuff they're not ready to do. So, I think it's very common.
Michelle, do you think that girls between the ages of 13 and 16 are ready to have sex and deal with the responsibilities that it comes with it?
No, I don't think they're ready to deal with the responsibilities that come with being sexually active. I mean, it involves a lot of emotional attachment and connections and things that they're really not mature enough to understand. but the reality is that it does happen. And so we have to teach our young people to have coping skills, to not feel pressured, to have to want to be sexually active or be in a relationship that they're not ready for.
China, when you first had sex, did you believe that you were in love with the young man that you were having sex with?
At that age, you know, what is really love? But I believe so, yes.
And Shy?
In love, no, but it wasn't anything you could tell me. He did no wrong in my eyes, but I don't think that was love, you know?
And do you feel that many of the girls in your age group, do they feel that they're in love with the person, or is it just they're going along with what's happening?
I mean, who doesn't want love, you know? And at a young age, you know, you feel like it's something you need to have. You feel like it's a hole that needs to be filled, so you go looking for it in a sense, you know?
China, how did you feel when you found out that you were pregnant?
I was disappointed. I was scared to tell my parents, you know, this is not what I wanted. I knew being sexually active was really risky, and I did take precaution, but it happened, and, you know, I had to deal with it. I was scared.
How did you tell your parents?
I went to the clinic, and because I was underage, they had to call an adult. And I wasn't ready to tell my mother because she was at work, and I didn't want that to happen to her. So I told my auntie, and she told my mother. And that night she told my father. So
And what was the reaction like?
they were upset. It wasn't really anger, but more of like, I guess because they told me they knew this was a possibility from being abused, they were just, you know, couldn't believe it was real.
Shy, what about you? How did you tell your parents?
I actually didn't get a chance to tell my parents. My boyfriend did, and my mother showed no real emotion. She was like, it wasn't real to her. My father cut me off for about 2 months. He didn't want to speak to me. He didn't want to have anything to do with me, so it was pretty hard in the beginning.
Michelle, is this a common reaction for parents to have?
Very common. It's a lot of mixed emotions. People are upset, people are confused, people are frightened. You know, just to know that the entire family dynamics can change in a twinkle of an eye or in 9 months. And so no reaction, I think, is uncommon. So when I talk to parents that are upset, it's just walking them through until you get to a complete acceptance that this is what it is, and what are we going to do as a team if we're involved in teen services and a family to assist the young person and the unborn child. It's very difficult to accept, but parents go through their stages of emotion, so it's not uncommon, and it's, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. It's just a matter of deflating some of the stress.
What is an inappropriate reaction for a parent to have?
I mean, I guess an inappropriate reaction of a parent would be to beat the crap out of the kid and cause some bodily harm. I mean, I know people feel like that, but I think that would be an inappropriate reaction.
When you girls realized or found out that you were pregnant, did you feel like your world was beginning to fall apart? What was your first, I guess, instinctual thoughts?
My first choice was, you know, like any other girl, I'm so young, have an abortion, you know, fix it, undo it. But, you know, that's not the type of house I'm raised in, you know. And basically hearing a heartbeat, you know, how can you sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to end this heartbeat? I couldn't do that.
Shy?
Much like China, I thought about abortion. You know, I felt embarrassed, and I felt everyone was going to judge me, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I thought about abortion, but like China, I grew up in a household where that wasn't really accepted or wasn't really praised, and, you know, I just chose to keep my baby.
Michelle, does Teen Services assist young girls that do want to have abortions or even adoption?
Yes, we do. We first of all, we don't encourage them to make any decision. They could either have an abortion or carry to term. We are there to support them no matter what decision they make. Um, if they decide to carry to term, we just make sure that they're connected to the services, meaning if it had to be educational services, financial assistance, housing, we connect them to those services so that they can get ready for motherhood. If they do decide to terminate their pregnancy, there's a certain procedure in Bermuda for young people under the age of 18, young women, that they have to follow in order to terminate their pregnancy. It's just not go to the hospital and do it. There's a certain procedure, there are assessments that have to be done, and so Teen Services is only responsible for writing a report and then referring that report to the Maui Child and Adolescent Services and then to the appropriate physician that will do the procedure. It's not an easy task. The decision is totally up to the young lady to make that decision, and as long as she's clear about that decision, then I can write the report. But no way do we encourage either way. They have to come with their mind set. We can just talk about the pros and the cons of having a baby versus terminating, and we respect every decision that the family makes. In our job, and I like to emphasize our job is to support these young ladies no matter what they decide to do so they can go on with their lives.
Talking about support, China and Shai, you both sound like you have really good family support. Michelle, what about the people that don't have such good support? How does Teen Services, do they assist in that regard?
Yes, of course. Any client that walks through the doors of Teen Services, we try our best to provide the support that they require. Not all families can get to the point where they feel like being supportive to this type of situation. So our job is to connect them to the services they need so that they can cope, which, whether it's education, whether it's medical needs, we just have to make sure they can cope. And hopefully we can get the family re-involved in the situation, but we try to make sure that the support is there.
Shai, now having already had your daughter, correct?
Son.
Yes. Do you ever regret having him, or?
I don't regret having him. I regret having him so young. Okay. Like, now that he's in my life, I can't picture my life without him, you know, and I suppose you get that a lot, but I don't regret it at all. You know, he's made me become a better person, and the mindset I have now, I feel like I wouldn't have it without him in my life, so.
John?
Yeah.
Of course, I wouldn't regret my daughter. She is my motivation. She pushes me. I want to be able to provide for her. And, you know, young teens now, we're caught up in so much partying, and I'm glad to have her because I know I need to focus on my education. I need to pave my future, and I think without her, I'd probably be reckless. I don't know what I'd do.
Oh. Now, one thing that we haven't talked about is the fathers of your children. China, is the father involved in your daughter's life?
Well involved, yes.
Great. And Shai?
Not as involved as I like him to be. Mm-hmm.
And is this common, Michelle?
This is common with young parenting with teen fathers or fathers that may be in their 20s. It's difficult at times to, as the counselor, it's kind of getting them ready to understand that this relationship may not last. I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer, but it's hard for them to maintain relationship. Also, the young fathers are stressed and they're frightened as well, and we try to bring them in for services if they want to. We can't force them to, but both young ladies have shown both sides of the coin, one involved and one not involved as she would like him to be. But the best thing that we can say to these young people is that, you know, they're going to be parents for the rest of that child's life, and they're going to have to learn to get along and learn to participate. But for the young ladies who are my primary clients, if that doesn't happen, it's kind of giving them the skills to cope, that they are a single parent and that they need to develop the skills that they're both talking about in order to care for their child, and not to have a lot of hatred and stuff, but to go on and do what they have to do in their life because they're the primary caretaker. And we just wish the best if they do come together as a unit, two parents.
And Shai, how do you talk to your friends about, not having a child early in life?
Well, I always encourage them to, think later on in life, you're giving up a huge chunk of your life. Is that something that you really want to do? Not that I encourage abortions, but it's something that you really have to look honestly, like inside of yourself and ask, am I ready for this right now? Because in all reality, you're not ready for it. So, yeah.
For my friends that are sexually active, I encourage birth control. I encourage protection. And when pregnancy scares come, I'm the first one there, Whether it's you need abortion, it's because, not everybody's meant to be a parent. Not everybody can do it. If you're having that child, I'm your support system because, I know what's it like. You need people there to tell you that you're going to make it. So no matter what, I'm here for you.
There's a statistic out there that says that teen moms tend to go on to have more and more children while they're still teens. What stops you two from getting pregnant again?
I'm on birth control. No, I'm not having no more children anytime soon. I'm not ready for it. I feel guilty now that I cannot come out my pocket and provide for my daughter. No way I'm bringing another child in. And, I come from a big family and you have my siblings. You can play with them. No, you don't need real siblings right now.
Chuck?
Like China, I do feel guilty because, my son doesn't have anyone to play with, but not guilty enough to have another child, It's just I've had enough sleepless nights and trying to juggle work, school, and him, especially when he's sick. So it's not something I want to put myself through anytime soon. Not right now.
Now, you were both nominated as outstanding teens. How did this make you feel, knowing that you could have many critics out there?
I was excited, that somebody was taking notice of my perseverance. That's what I got nominated for, and it was really special to me to know that, I could turn what people see as a tragedy into something, terrific, I guess,
And how did you feel, China?
I can say the same because, I'm happy someone saw something in me despite what I've been through. I've persevered. Just basically, as a teenager, you should persevere with and without a child. But for us, we have a child, and look at us. We're not doing what these children without children are doing. We're doing something with our lives. And a lot of people would look at us and say, well, that's what you need to do. Well, what about the children without children? What are they doing? You're so concerned about teen mothers. What about the ones that aren't?
And for any critics that may say, well, you shouldn't be a role model, or you shouldn't, or it appears that, we're glamorizing you as teen parents, what would you say to them?
I don't think anyone glamorizes me as being a teen parent, You do have the cute moments, but I put out more of the hardships, I let people know that I do have to juggle school and work and my child, and it's not anything glamorous about it. I mean, you do have the cute moments, but you do have some pretty bad ones as well, Yeah.
China and Shai, I am extremely encouraged that you two are able to remain focused and remain positive and have the family support that you do in order to, continue on and reach the goals that you have. You are watching Parent Life Show. Stay tuned. Shai, how did you find yourself in this situation when you said that you felt like you were almost set up to go into your first encounter?
Well, you mean when I lost my virginity? Okay, it was a school break and you're home, you don't have much to do, you're too ill for camps, and you of course have friends and you want to chill together, I guess, in a sense. So I went and chilled, and that chilling led to something else.
We also want to say a huge thank you to the Fairmont Southampton Princess for allowing us to film here. And if you're looking for a great place for your family to dine out, Wicked's Restaurant is the place to be. If you liked our video and you would like to subscribe to our newsletter, visit our website, www.bermudaparentmagazine.com. And this is Parent Life Show brought to you by Bermuda Parent Magazine.